What's up, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk, man. And you know what? It's been crazy, right? The whole world is kind of like on lockdown right now because of the situation with the coronavirus. And again, my condolences to anybody who's lost their life. Anybody who's, sick right now. I know a lot of people are affected by this economically, and it's not your fault because obviously you can't work, you can't do things. And this is a time in the world where the whole community, global community is coming together to fight what's going on, all the way from Europe to Africa to North America to South America. We're all trying to work together to save the world, right? And again, it always goes back to being humble, and also going back to being considerate of people's feelings. And when you look at being considerate of people's feelings, there are certain institutions that we look to do that. One of them is the government, right? Our governments are supposed to open up the doors. The governments are supposed to look out for the people. We look out for the World Health Organizations, NGOs. Sometimes we look for celebrities, athletes to make contributions. But in my opinion, the biggest, the greatest contribution we look for is the church, all right? Especially Christianity. In Christianity, we look for the church to open up their doors in times of need. Like Jesus Christ was very big on, helping the sick, feeding the homeless, helping children, giving people who didn't have what they needed to have in order to get by. And that's what the church historically has been about, especially in the black community. The churches were about helping the people, giving back to the community, doing things for the community to provide certain services that were not available. And this brings me to Pastor Kenneth Copeland. All right. Now, and I grew up Baptist, but Kenneth Copeland is one of these word of faith preachers. And word of faith is pretty much like, you can access, basically money, and riches through your faith in God, prosperity for believers. That's the kind of thing. To me, I don't see where Christianity promises you riches and things like that. But this kind of started with a preacher by the name of Oral Roberts, who was out of Oklahoma, and then Kenneth Copeland kind of followed in his footsteps. And there are quite a few word of faith type of preachers. Creflo Dollar is one of them. But Kenneth Copeland has come out and said something so controversial during the coronavirus. Now, let's stop right here. Kenneth Copeland is actually a preacher who was worth, get this, $760 million. Damn! $760 million. All right. Now, athletes like Zion Williamson, other NBA athletes are talking about donating funds to help people with the coronavirus. Zion Williamson don't have no $760 million, but Kenneth Copeland and his enterprise is worth that. But instead of Kenneth Copeland, who is a preacher, who should be preaching the good news of Jesus Christ, feeding the sick, helping the homeless, you know what he was telling the members in the church? All Christians, you make sure that you keep your tithes, although you may be fired and without a job. Let's stop the show right there.
Oh my God.
Now, I'm currently in Uganda right now. All right. The coronavirus has knocked out so much of the global economy. Donald Trump is talking about giving $1 trillion stimulus to get people back on their feet, right? In America today. This is what's going on. But Kenneth Copeland finds it in his heart to tell people that no matter if you lose your job or not, you better still give this 10% to your churches. It doesn't matter. Send it by email. You go and drop it off. And I know that some of y'all think that I'm lying and don't believe me, because there have been fake news about some preachers getting cash out like Creflo Dollar. That wasn't true. But you know what? I actually want you to hear what the guy had to say. And you hear this for yourself. And then once you hear this, you come back to me and let's roll the tape of what he had to say right now.
Coronavirus is faith in its ability to hurt you or kill you. The fear of what are we going to do? I'm getting laid off at work. Hey, your job's not your source. If it is, you're in trouble. Jesus is your source. Whatever you do right now, don't you stop tithing. Don't you stop sowing offerings. Well, they won't let us go to church. Well, email it in there, text give or something, but you get your tithe in that church. If you have to go take it down there and drop it off and stick it under the door or something, you get that tithe in that church, you get that offering in that church, and then you go home and you do what we're supposed to do.
All right. You heard Reverend Pastor Kenneth Copeland, Mr. I'm Almost a Billionaire, tell all Christians that, you know what? Despite the issues that you may be having financially, you better give them donations, because God is testing your faith. My question to Kenneth Copeland: what donations are you giving during the coronavirus? I mean, you have $760 million. Is Kenneth Copeland stepping up to the fact that you're going to give $76 million of your enterprise to help in these world efforts? And again, this is one of the reasons why so many people are upset with churches. Giving money to these churches to do what? What are you doing? What are pastors doing? Preachers are doing, many of them, nothing right now. I don't see any of them trying to be involved, hey, with the world health. Is there anything that we can do? Is there anything we can do to educate the people? Is there anything that we can do? Churches are closed down, but hey, you know what? You preachers still got to go ahead and get your Rolls Royces, right? You pastors still got to go out there and get your Bentleys, right? You still got to have your telecasts. Now I understand things cost money, but you're not even having any type of sympathy for your members. And we all know that, let's be honest, I'm a Christian and everything too, and we all know that, God can do this and that, but God don't need your money. God is omniscient, he's omnipresent. He don't need your 10%. Nigga, you need the 10%. It's you who's looking to get somebody money and do some things with it. It's you. All you preachers are like that for the most part. Not all of you, but most of you, especially you jerks who preach the word of faith. And it's ridiculous, man, to come out there. You have people that are worrying about buying toilet paper. Think about this. People don't even have toilet paper.
How fast do we have this?
Okay. You have the elderly worrying about going outside, getting access to things. Immune systems are low. Not enough support out there. And the cities are shutting down. Things are drastically changing by the minute to every hour. And the first thing you can think about is tithes and offering. It just goes to show you where these churches are at, right? They don't care about the members. They don't care about the people. All they care about is the bottom line. How much money I can do with this. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, Kenneth Copeland. One thing you can't do. Like the old lady sitting in the back of the church. You can't take it with you wherever you're going. And I got a feeling where you going, you can't buy yourself out of where you're going down under, brother. You cannot take that $760 million with you. You got to leave it right here. And that's for all of us. We chase money, we chase things and stuff, not mentioning when you die. You're going to leave all of that right here. I think people have forgotten about the message of, if you believe in Jesus, you believe in, Muhammad or Allah, you forget the core of the message of the religion. And getting wealthy is not one of the core of the messages of the religion. That's something that greed has taken over. And you know what? This epidemic has not ever happened in recent times. We're all adjusting to this coronavirus epidemic. And you know what? People need consolation in the church, right? People need to be uplifted. People need to be reassured. People need to know that their church family loves them, you know, if they believe in God and all this stuff. That would be the right thing. Right now, we need to be bringing people together, not run them donations to the church and give me 10% of your earnings. You know, if people probably would have given the money to, to scientific research instead of churches, we would be somewhere. I mean, how much money have African Americans given the black church over the last 40 years? $380 billion. What has happened in the black community? Nothing. So, that's just my take on it, guys. This is the Celebrity Junk. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell. It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson. You already know what's going on. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell on the channel, y'all. And also, don't forget to get the Black Men Are Perfect t-shirts. Y'all know how we do. And patreon.com, support your boy. We out. Peace.